Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle. I'm your host, Joe Frank, and today we are going to do something we've done before. I'm actually going to be making some more of these silicone, high heat silicone molds for making my mud flippers. It was a bait we made a while back. It's actually a lead weight that is a craw tail that has a screw lock on it, but it also has a line through. So it's almost like a worm weight, but a craw tail. Really cool little bait. Let me show you right here. And this is something that Anthony from Lazy Bait Co. helped me kind of make and dream up. So kudos to him, shout out to him. But the problem that I have is I made a few of these, but I needed to sit down and make a bunch more. So today I'm going to go ahead and mix up the silicone that we need to do this. It's Mold Max 60. This is what we're going to be using right here. And this is the part B that mixes into it. We're going to mix those two together. I actually started a video like this already, and I had to wash it out because I had some of this Mold Max sitting here, but it had been sitting here for so long. It got so hard that I couldn't actually use it. It was just too hard to actually pour into the mold, so I couldn't even use it at all. So today I got a fresh batch, just got it, and we're going to pour a bunch of molds. So let's bring you down to the bench down here and we'll start checking this thing out. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about Mold Max 60 is it is a red high heat silicone mix. And it is so red, it stains everything. So the one thing that is essential to doing this is gloves, because this really makes a mess. And you also want to have some paper towels ready, which I'm pretty sure I have plenty of them. So I'm going to get a couple of nitro gloves, black, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of paper towels. So then that way we've got what we need to clean up this mess, because I know it's going to get messy. So I'm going to turn this scale off, but I'm going to turn it right back on. It's been sitting here for a few minutes. So here's so I got some of those shop rags, those blue paper towels. I'm going to put one of them underneath what I'm working on and what I'm pouring on the wood here. And I'm going to put these back up there. And the best part about these, and I've got some little video of me 3D printing some more of these molds. So I'll cut to that here and show you that. And then I want to show you that this actually has a wall that's removable. This wall right here is removable from the mold, so you can get the molds out. Brilliant design by Anthony. These things are incredible. So go check him out, Lazy Bait Co. Incredible guy. He designs a ton of different things for a lot of different people. If you're looking to get something designed, I recommend you go check him out and tell him I sent you. But so the best thing about this is I've gotten to use a lot of my daughter's hair ties to keep these together. So I just stole a whole bunch of those. So that's what I'm keeping them together with. Now, you're going to need a measuring cup. The measuring side of the cups, that's not important because we're actually doing this by weight. So what I want to do is set the cup on the scale, then turn it on, because it's going to zero with the cup weight on there. Okay, so let me get some gloves on real quick. We're going to try to do this relatively fast. And I'm going to do, it's 100 to 3 for the ratio of the mix. So 100 of the red stuff, okay, and then 3 of this blue stuff. All right, and now you should mix it up. I've already pre-mixed a little bit of this, so we're good to go. But I need to go I'm going to go 200 grams, and then we're going to do part 6 of the blue. So let's get this up to 200, and hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, there's 100. 150. We're just going to go nice and slow. Then I'm going to get a stick here to slow down the side of this when we get close. 190. Very close now, 198, 199. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. 201 is what we got. Now, I just did, like I said, this stuff it makes a mess. I got a little bit on the outside of the cup here. I'm just going to try to work around that. I'll clean it up a little bit here, just so then that way it doesn't make a mess and go everywhere, because this stuff it's brutal. It's just, it makes everything red. All right, so that back on there. We're at 201. I'm going to wipe this stick. I may have to get some more paper towels here. What we're going to do here now is I'm just going to clean up the lip of this, because I really want this to have a nice seal when I put the lid back on. That way there's no mess. And it looks like I already made a mess because I got some of this stuff from this paper towel on the outside. I'm just going to get rid of that paper towel. But nice tight seal. Make sure there's no mess on it. So I'm going to leave that alone as is. Then we're going to get out the blue. And hopefully my scale stays on here, because it times out. Okay, so this has got a little seal in it, which I already took out of the other one. I mixed it up. I just shook it. Okay, but this stuff is bright blue. So we want 6 grams of this. Six grams. Okay, and it might be a little less, but that's okay. So put that on there. I'm going to wipe all the crap off of that bottle so it doesn't have anything on there for the next time I use it. Put that back there, so then that way it's out of the way. Now I got my stirring stick. We're done with the scale. It is very imperative that you mix this up very well. So I'm going to take a few minutes and get this mixed up, and I may even do like a little speed run but this stuff, it definitely takes time. You see it's blue and the red. You got to make sure that the blue is all gone. Once the blue is all gone, then we can actually pour our molds. And the problem with this stuff is it gets very, very thick very fast. So my intention here is to mix this up really good, and then I'm going to immediately pour. So I'm going to get this mixed up real quick, guys. Take a few minutes, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to get you a different camera angle. Then that way we can get in real close so I can show you how I pour these. Okay, so I'm going to keep the camera away from the stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and start pouring these. So like I said, the last batch I had was so thick that it wouldn't even pour. Like, it was terrible. And this is exactly what you want right there. See that? How thin it is? You just want it thin. This stuff is still pretty thick as far as, how it actually is mixed. It's very thick material, but it should be thin enough to where when you pour it in there, it spreads out and goes to every corner and goes to every little nook and cranny of the mold. And that's what we want. Now I'm hoping the working time on this, I just coughed and got a little bit of red everywhere on that one. But I'm hoping the working time on this is long enough to where I can fill all 8 of these, because each one of these molds is 1/2 of the mold itself. So I need to pay attention. I need to also slow down when I'm getting close to filling it up, which I'm very close right there. So we're going to stop right there and then move to the next one. And I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to go like left and right. We're going to do left and right, and just going to keep going left and right kind of thing. Just go back and forth. so we got all 8 of them filled up. I'm taking my gloves off now because I've gotten the whole thing poured. And like I said, this stuff makes a real mess. So it says on here, on the actual label itself, that pot life is 40 minutes and cure time is 24 hours. So I have to wait 24 hours for those to be fully cured, and then that way I can use them. So tomorrow, I think right now it's like around 12. So tomorrow at 12. But I got 40 minutes of working time, which the last time I tried to mix some of this stuff up, it was so thick I couldn't even use it. So real glad that I was able to get those poured with some new silicone. And this stuff's not too bad. It's like $40 a pop to get this container with the blue. And I think I'm not sure if you can get more. I'm assuming you can get more than that, like quantity wise. But I just got it off of Amazon, and it got here on time, and it did really well. So very impressed by how quick it came with Amazon. I think it came like in less than 2 days, or 2 days right on the money. So that's pretty awesome. So that must have been something they keep on the shelf. But anyway, so there you have it, guys. We'll come back when these are all cured up, and we will do some more. So really quick, we're just going to take these apart and clean them up so that they're ready to pour lead in tomorrow. This video is going to be over a couple days, but see how clean that is? I took off that end piece, nice and clean and flush, no air bubbles. With that last batch I had that I knew was going to be a mistake, and actually, while I'm doing this, what I'm doing, see that little piece right there? See that? I'm just scraping my nail. There's a little bit of a bleed over in between that layer. And I want to try to make sure that I get it all. So I tucked a little bit underneath. So just clean that up. And then when you pull this out, it may take a little bit because it's stuck in there pretty good. But I don't want to use anything to ruin the mold or to ruin the silicone. So I'm just going to try to work it the best I can. Push on it with a bunch of force. Try not to break the mold, like I said. If I can get something, I'm in between there, maybe. There, use the end of a paintbrush. There we go. Just to get it started. And there it is. So, really clean. I see a couple little air bubble spots, but I don't think that's because of the silicone. I think it's because of the mold itself has got a couple little spots in it. So that is a great mold right there. So that's 1/2. Okay. And the great part is I can reuse these molds to make more. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're just going to run through these real quick. And again, if you got daughters, hair bands, or even your wife, I'm sure you can find them. Alright, so now that we got our molds all done, we are going to go ahead and just spend the time real quick to put these back together. So I'm just going to put each one of these back together. We just got to clean this up real quick. So I'm going to take my hair ties, stretch them over, so then that way they're ready for the next pour if I ever do them anytime soon. But I figured I'd just leave them on there, then that way they're ready to go next time I want to do these. So again, just putting them back together. Okay, so now that we got all that done, we can go ahead and put these away, clean our workspace up. Okay, just get cleaned up here, get rid of some stuff I didn't use, get rid of some of the extra silicone that got peeled off the molds, makes a mess. And that way we're good and cleaned up. Okay, so now, if you notice, my older molds are white. They're covered with white stuff. That is talc powder. This is the same stuff that they used to use in baby powder, except they found out that this actually has some not so good things. See this caution right here, caution, avoid inhaling the dust of talc. It is in high concentration. So you got to be very careful with this, but you can buy these bags off of Amazon. So what I do is I just open this up, and it's double bagged. There's 2 bags in there, and you got to open up the inside plastic one when you first get it. But I just take a small brush, a paintbrush, and I take some talc, and I just cover the insides of the molds. And I'm going to do it to these older ones again. And then what you do after you get through, and try to spread it out, use some of the talc from what I already took out of the bag, then that way I'm not making too much of a mess, right? And all this is for is so that you can pour these molds, and hopefully the talc keeps the silicone from burning as much, okay, from the heat of the lead. Now, one also trick that I'm going to tell you is that I have my lead pot set down to level 3, and I'm not sure what temperature that is, but it's very low on the melting point for lead. So and again, this is what I like to do. I put the talc powder in these, and there's still a lot in that one. I'm just trying to spread it around so I'm not using as much. I can actually just go like this and dump some down. So these are pretty much ready. Now there is going to be some excess talc powder that will be left over, and what I like to do with it is I like to take the leftover, and I have a ventilation fan that, I don't know if you can hear that in the background right now, for my lead station, and it is a very high powered CFM fan, and it takes stuff up and outside very quickly. So what I like to do is I like to take these molds after I put talc powder on them, and you can probably get like 2 runs out of each one. So what I like to do, and I like to keep this talc powder bag closed as much as possible, then that way I'm not breathing in any extra. Okay, so always keep this closed. Try not to breathe it in when you're painting these up. But like I said, I like to take, and what I like to do is put them up underneath my ventilation fan and then blow the excess out. So take one of these, and that blew all the excess out. Okay, because you don't need it all in there. It really just needs a nice little coat. So all that just goes up and out. So now that I've done that, those are ready for parts and for the line through, which in this case is a piece of small wire. Now any extra talc, I'm just trying to get it on my hands, and again, it's not that it's hazardous to your skin, it's hazardous to breathe in. And I say hazardous, I use that loosely. It's not hazardous, but it's not good for you. So I guess in turn would make it a hazard. So I guess it technically is. But again, just blowing out the extra. And I talked to a gentleman that told me about this when he said he does them all the time. But it protects the longevity of the mold, so it lasts a lot longer. Okay, so now I've got my little bucket of wire. These are just small pieces of wire. I can't remember what diameter this wire is, but it's pretty thick. And what we're going to do is you put it in one side, and I've actually got a little bit of paint on this one. I'm going to try to get off real quick. I try to reuse these as much as possible. So I'm going to put that there. But the thing is, we need to use screw locks on this. These are Do-It screw locks. Okay. So you just take one of these screw locks. You put the wire through that like this. See it? You just take a screw lock, put the wire down through the middle of the screw lock, and that goes there. And the screw lock, what I do in my mold is I've made a little slit in my mold, which I need to do on the new ones down here. And it's just on one side, not on both sides. And that's all you do, is you just get it so that your screw lock is in there nice and tight, and it holds it in place. If I just put a little slit with use an X-Acto knife and just make a little slit right there, and I'll actually do that on the next one. But that's all you do. So it's just got the wire through, and it's got your screw lock for this particular mold. Sometimes the wire gets out of place and you need to just get it back into place, but that's it right there. So this is ready, and if you want, you can take your screw lock and just make sure that the wire is centered through it. Just make sure it's not going to go anywhere, and then that one's ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this next one. This is the same thing. This same idea, screw lock through wire, and then on one side, like I said, I've got a little slit mark for holding the screw lock on the mold. Let me see if I can hold this up and show it to you where it is. There you go. You see how that screw lock arm goes right up in there? It's going to hold nicely in that lead. Okay, that's it. That's all it does. Just holds in that lead. Just a nice little placeholder. So I'll close that one up. That one's ready to go. Okay, there's two of the smaller ones, the 1/4. And what I like to do on this one is I'm probably going to end up putting all four of those together in one clamp. Then that way I'm not using a clamp for every single one of them. So let me show you which one. So I like to take one side of the mold, and it's the side with the bigger middle piece. Okay. And I'm going to line these up so that they're the same way. So the ones on this side are the ones that actually I use I put the slit in. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, so then that way you guys can see where I put the slit, because I got to do it on these new ones. So right there on that guy, I'm just going to take this X-Acto knife and I'm just going to make a small incision right there, just like that. That's it. And do the same thing on this one. Small incision right there. And again, this is just to hold the screw lock in place to shut the mold. Okay, and then we got to do it on the small one. Same thing right there. And then this one, same thing right there. Okay, that's it. That's all you got to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these together and just probably do a speed run on this, and we'll hopefully the lead will be ready and we can go ahead and pour. So you just want to make sure that all your wires are lined up back there, that they're all good. You want to make sure your screw locks are in the right position. Okay. Okay, I think that's good. Everything seems lined up, seems okay. I like it. Got all those 4 done, got all these 4 locked in. Looks like they're in the right position, ready to go. So again, lead has to be at level 3, not super hot, because it will burn these really bad. So I'm trying to use the lightest, the let's put it this way, the lowest temperature I can with melted lead, right? So let me get you a different shot over here by the lead pot so I can show you how I pour these. Okay, so for this, guys, I'm just going to kind of leave you right there where you can see everything. I'm going to bring my molds over, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop the lead into each one of these molds very carefully. Okay, there's those 4. And I have yet to have a problem with these. Okay, and what I'm going to show you real quick is I usually take these down to the floor, concrete floor, and I go like this, open them up, and that way they don't burn. Then that way they don't burn the molds as quickly. And that way they're in there as little as possible. But see, look at that. So I just cut the sprue off, and voila, got a nice little craw tail. Lead, love it. Kudos and thanks to my man Anthony at Lazy Baits Co. So I'm going to make up a couple more batches of these, and you guys can. I'm going to do this other one real quick. And I really just wanted to do that so you guys could see. So I tried to leave these. I left these in the mold a little bit longer than I like to. I usually pour them and then immediately pop them out. Let's see that right there. Perfect. So really, all in all, these hold up really well. And as long as you take care of them and keep putting some talc powder on there to keep them so that they're not burning, it's not an issue. And the molds will last for a long time. Now, sometimes I get lucky and most of the sprues fall off when I dump them on the floor when they're hot. But just a couple of these, 2 specifically. Had sprues on them. The rest of them fell off. But I do want to make sure that like little burrs like that get cut off right, so they're not, you know, in the way or don't look crappy when you pour them, that kind of thing. So all I'm doing is just going through real quick and cleaning them up. Okay. And sometimes you get a little bit of lead coming out where the vents are, but that's no big deal. No big deal at all. Like, look at this one. See it? See, I get a little tiny bit there, a tiny bit there. No problem. Just cut it off. And with these, I don't even need to file them or anything like that. With like some of the other molds I've used, sometimes you got to file where the sprue was. But come out great, guys. So there's a bunch more. These are the 1/4 size that I already had done. These are the, I'm sorry, 3/8 size. That was 3/8. Let me back you up a little bit so you can see. I don't know if I can or not. There we go. Okay, so that's 3/8. These are 1/4. But what I need to do now is measure these to make sure which ones they are. So I'm going to quick measure these off the side of the table. That is definitely 3/8. That is definitely 1/4. I think, yeah, that's 1/4. They're very similar in size, so I just want to make sure by measuring them, make sure that they're the right ones they're supposed to be. That's 3/8. That's 1/4. That's 1/4. That's 3/8. And that's 3/8. So we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of each. Okay. So that came out pretty good, guys. I think for this video, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap that up and do that. Where I just, actually made them. I probably won't paint them yet, but I will get to painting them here at some point. But I've done it. I think I've done a video painting these already. Maybe I haven't, so I probably need to go through that at some point. But you basically just keep them on this metal. And what I'd like to do is try to push. Sometimes it gets stuck on that line through wire. So just twist it a little bit. And if you can twist it and try to get it so that the lead head goes down towards one end like this, where it's just got a little bit sticking through the other end like a little lollipop, then I can paint it and then slide it off this end, and I clean this first before I pull it off. Then that way any of the paint that's on the end I can just take off, and then it leaves a nice clean line through. And you just dip them, dunk them. Powder paint, I use either the fluid bed or you can do them right out of the cup. Doesn't really matter as long as you do them quick. Not a lot of paint, you know what I mean? Don't try to overdo the paint. So pretty simple. But I just wanted to go through that with you guys one more time. I've done it before in the past, but I wanted to kind of go through it a little bit slower, and I wanted to go through the process of actually making the actual molds, the silicone molds, and from new molds that I made. Actually, I guess you want to say mold. Pouring the silicone molds in these mold blanks kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like 3D printed. So I just wanted to go through that one more time and show you guys that you can do this, and it's actually really cool. Like, very, very awesome project. If you guys wanted to make your own, you could just take a hook And you really could do it even without a 3D printer. You could just do it with clay and some silicone and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen some stuff done like that too, but this is my first go around with it, and doing it with a 3D printer I thought was kind of a cool idea. And getting Anthony, who's really good with design work, getting him on board to do these for me was just incredible. So I think we're going to wrap this video up, guys. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Like I said, it was just a, getting to go from a 3D printed mold negative to a silicone mold like this, so that you could actually make your own lead products. Really cool. Great idea. It saves a lot of money. It's not super expensive to do. You don't have to pay hundreds of dollars like doing an actual lead mold from somebody that's CNC'd aluminum, which I would recommend, because it's really something, especially if you're going to get into selling a lot of the product you want to make. But these little mud flipper tails for, a line through, kind of like a worm weight, but for a craw, absolutely incredible. I love the idea. I love doing it. And I think probably end up doing a lot more of these. That's why I wanted to make a bunch more of these silicone molds. But again, mud flipper tails, awesome. But you can do your own. I just wanted to show you guys you could do that. Get somebody to design you. You could get somebody to just design you the mold negative. And then if you have a 3D printer, print it yourself like what I did. So I recommend, if you want some design work done, Anthony at Lazy Bait Co. does a great job. There are some other people out there that will probably do that as well, I would imagine. So keep a lookout. And if you do know anybody else that'll do that kind of stuff, let me know, and I can, let other people know where to go as well. So this community has always been very giving. We all kind of take care of each other. And, if I can find somebody that does great work and is willing to help another person out, another bait maker out specifically, I mean, I'm down for it. And that's why I kind of do these videos, try to help everybody out and just kind of get you a path guided down the right road. So if you have any information about any of this type stuff, send me some comments, share, like this video, please. And if you would, just smash that subscribe button. So again, thank you guys so much. And as always, remember to keep on baiting.